COVID-19 has led to a huge spike in sex doll sales. An unsold beer has been turned into renewable energy, and the world's last Blockbuster video store will be available to rent on Airbnb. These are the weird stories for Thursday. This is Weird AF News, and I'm your host, Jonesy. This is the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian, I think. I'm glad you're here.
Hey, mainstream news. Listen to Weird AF News with Jonesy.
COVID-19 lockdowns have led to a huge spike in sex doll sales. In many ways, the advent of a global pandemic has been a stroke of luck for the sex doll industry. With most of the world under some sort of strict government instruction to self-isolate in the privacy of one's own home, consumer interest in silicone-based sexual partners is at an all-time high. It's not just lonely singles who are contributing to the boom in the sex doll business. A growing number of Australian sex doll manufacturers and distributors confirmed to the media that sales have been surging ever since lockdown measures were enforced around Australia. Some vendors now reporting twice as many weekly purchases of sex dolls compared to what they were seeing before the coronavirus outbreak. Here's a quote from someone who owns an online sex store. "Since COVID, we've noticed a considerable increase in sales in our sex dolls. We've doubled our cherry doll sales since March, and now we sell 4 to 5 a week, or 20 to 25 a month." That was a pretty terrible Australian accent, I think. I gave it the old college try, though. Another popular sex doll vendor named Andrew said, "Since the hard lockdown stages of COVID-19 in Australia, we've experienced an increase in sales of about 30 to 40%. It started in about May and has continued since then." That's a little better. Andrews also noticed another, perhaps less predictable trend in sex doll sales since the lockdowns came into effect, that more and more partners and couples are buying dolls for themselves and each other. In this new trend, we've got a husband buying a female doll alongside his wife for him. A husband and wife buying dolls together, one for each other. Also a general increase in women buying male dolls for themselves. And also we're getting a lot of requests for some custom-made heads. I want a head. Yes, I would like the head to be of Hillary Clinton. I want to have sex with a Hillary Clinton sex doll. I'm a freak, I tell you. No, I want the head to be Scooby-Doo. Imagine you can get a sex doll with a head of anything you wanted. That's crazy. The impacts of COVID on the industry haven't all been positive, though. Oh, no. Kirk from Pleasure Dolls Australia told the media that while organic online traffic and inquiries have seen a major uptick, the disruptions that the pandemic has caused for postage, flights, and general mobility has had a serious impact on the shipping and delivering of the sex dolls. Yeah, it says here especially for international shipments. Man, the post office has been a real bitch since this has gone down. I mean, it's just a terrible thing what's going on. Nothing works. I don't get anything on time. Like, I can't even use the post office. I got to use other carriers. I mean, what's going to be done? This post office is underfunded. I mean, you can't get your sex dolls, I'll tell you right now, not from the post office. You got to go use a different vendor. I've tried. I've ordered 17 sex dolls, all with various heads. It ain't working. The article also mentions that these sex dolls oftentimes have to await a customs clearance, and usually it takes 72 business hours, but lately, 6 weeks. Imagine clearing sex dolls in customs. That'd be strange. What a strange job. But anyways, these sex dolls are, quote, selling like hotcakes, says Ryan. "We believe that those who are single or live by themselves want a human-like construct to just be near in these times. Despite skepticism we've found from talking directly to our customers that our dolls do actually provide emotional comfort as well as sexual expression." Emotional comfort with a sex doll? That seems strange to me. I don't know how much emotional comfort you would get out of an inanimate rubber doll. Unless you're a child. But I don't know. It's harmless. People that want to get emotional comfort and sexual expression through a sex doll, in the privacy of your own home, it's your business. It's just not for me. Anybody into sex dolls? Anyone have any experience with a sex robot or sex doll that listens to this show? I've covered so many articles about these sex robots and sex dolls. I figured someone by now would call me up and be like, yo, Jonesy, I don't appreciate what you said about Matilda, all right? She's very dear to me, okay? Very, very close. I spend a lot of quality hours with her during lockdown, and I don't appreciate it. Unsold beer is being turned into renewable energy. How? This is science. It's the sound of science. This story comes from Australia as well. When Australia's lockdown forced bars and restaurants to shut down in March, breweries were left with huge inventories of unsold and stale, yucky beer. Ew, what do you do with the beer? Instead of going to waste, instead of pouring the beer down the toiletta or into the gutter, some expired ales and lagers in the state of South Australia have been serving a new purpose. They are powering a water treatment plant. How does this work? At the Glenelg wastewater treatment plant, to the west of the capital Adelaide, millions of liters of unused beer from local breweries have been converted into renewable energy to power its water treatment process in recent months. Oh, this is lovely! A feel-good Corona story. I love it. The plant mixes organic industrial waste with sewerage sludge to produce biogas, which is then turned into electricity to power the whole facility. It usually generates enough biogas to provide about 80% of its energy needs. But the recent influx of beer has boosted its energy generation to whole new levels, reaching 654 megawatt hours in a single month. I tell you, Marty, it's a lot of megawatt hours. I tell you. Lisa Hannett, who is the senior manager of production and treatment at the water center, she said, by adding around 150,000 liters of expired beer every week, they generated a record 355,000 cubic meters of biogas in May, and another 320,000 cubic meters in June, which is enough to power 1,200 houses. Wow, imagine powering houses with beer. This is unbelievable. Hannett said, beer worked well for the plant's, quote, digesters, referring to the large sealed concrete tanks where sewerage sludge is treated in an oxygen-free environment and decomposed to produce methane-rich biogas. The beer's high caloric value, the amount of heat released during combustion, makes it perfect for the anaerobic digestion process, she added. Wow, I can't even say all these words. This is what happens when I do a science article, guys. I struggle. Here's a quote from her. Honorably, our thirsty digesters have been doing their bit for the environment by drinking themselves silly. And with such a horrific diet, it's no wonder they produce so much gas. And then she laughed. Because she works in the waste industry, and you must laugh when you work in the waste industry. It keeps you sane. How hard has the coronavirus lockdown hit the brewing industry in Australia? Well, in May, Lion Beer Australia, one of the country's largest breweries, said it emptied 90,000 kegs or 4.5 million liters of unwanted beer. Oh my goodness. The beer was tipped into the on-site wastewater treatment plants at its breweries across the country to begin the biogas process, which can be used to brew new beer, they reported. Ooh, yes, you can even use this energy to make whole new beer. It's like you're recycling the beer. I am surprised this much beer is being wasted in Australia. That is a bunch of drunks down there. I'll tell you right now. Every Australian I've met can drink like a fish. I've never seen people drink so much. Even the women. It's unbelievable how much they drink. Like, I couldn't believe it. And it's largely beer. Largely. You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast. Too difficult. No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man. The last Blockbuster video store in the world will be available to rent on Airbnb. How awesome is that? So the world's last brick-and-mortar Blockbuster store, it's located in Bend, Oregon. Did you know that? That's a good trivia question. This store has had a long shelf life, longer than most of the movies gracing its shelves. They're pivoting. They're turning it into a nostalgic 90s time capsule that apparently you can stay in. It's available on Airbnb. They announced for one weekend this September, the Oregonian locale will serve as an Airbnb for nostalgic travelers looking for a, quote, totally rad yet intimate slumber party at the world's last blockbuster video, brah. For just $4. Yeah, $4? How? Yes, you can spend the night at literally the loneliest place that they could hope to envision. It's not going to be lonely. Come on. First of all, you're only doing this for like one weekend. It's going to be packed. You're going to need to do this for many weekends. You should keep this going just as an Airbnb. I'm looking at the photo of it. It looks amazing. There's a beanbag chair. All I need is VHS and a beanbag chair. I'm in my happy place. Oh, you got to hop to it, though. There's only 3 reservations available. We have September 18th, 19th, and 20th. Interested parties can book the space beginning August 17th at 1 p.m. You're going to sell out right away. You need to offer this for longer than just 3 nights. Are you out of your mind? While those few lucky guests will have access to the entire store's worth of titles for a night-long movie marathon set in a makeshift party pad, everyone is promised an opportunity to check out the living room space during store hours for a limited time. Oh, so you can walk through the store and check it out. Still, don't you want to stay here? Those of us who remain horrified at the thought of staying overnight in a zombified Blockbuster during a global pandemic can still call a specialized callgorithm number, 541-385-9111. This connects you to store employees who will give you actual movie recommendations based on your likes. No way. Is that true? That phone number? 541-385-9111. This is a Blockbuster video store? You can call this store? And then they actually give you movie recommendations. This is unbelievable. This is like pre-internet shit right here. Really? You'd call a person would give you movie recommendations? Hey man, I'm on like a date and like she likes cats and I like slasher films. Do you have anything like that combines the two? Like some cat slasher films? Like maybe the movie's called, like in my mind it's called Clasher, the Clasher. It's like a cat with long claws. Like imagine Wolverine if Wolverine was a cat and it just sliced up everybody, like all of its owners, and then it goes from house to house and just like, do you have anything like that? And then somebody on the other line is like, no, you're stupid. If you like podcasts, check out Spotify. You can listen to all your favorite artists and podcasts in one place for free. You don't even need a premium account. Spotify has a huge selection of podcasts on every topic, including this one that you're listening to right now. And you can easily share what you're listening to with friends on Instagram as well. So download the Spotify app, search for your favorite podcast, and also make sure to follow Weird AF News and never miss an episode. Yes, download Spotify and make your life easier. I like to drink the booze, listen to the weird news. Do you? Do you? I want to know. Or do you perhaps smoke funny cigarettes and listen to Weird AF News? I'd like to know your regimen. Call the show 646-450-2012. How do you listen to Weird News? How do you take it in? Do you listen to it with your sex doll laying in bed? I'd like to know your regimen. I've lost my mind, clearly. I'm overworked and underpaid. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Jonesy, the host of Weird AF News. Thank you for listening to the end. I am exhausted. How are you doing? Reach out to me, funnyjones@gmail.com. Let me know what's happening. I got some lovely phone calls, which I'm going to publish after this. And, yeah, that's pretty cool. So stick around for that. Also, join the Patreon. What's the Patreon, Jonesy? Oh, that's a way you can support the show by buying Jonesy a beer every month. Just one beer. What's wrong with that? You can go to patreon.com/weirdafnews. And if you're a big fan of the show and listen every day, consider buying Jonesy a beer a month. Yes. Let me tell you something. I will put that beer to good use. I will not be making it into renewable energy. I will be putting it in my body, of course, and then into my toilet. That's where the beer goes. That's oh man, I'm just loopy right now. How are you? Are you guys safe and sound? I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the Thursday episode. I appreciate you listening until the end. Stay tuned for some calls. And also tomorrow is your favorite day. It's Florida Friday. So hit me up with any articles that you got. funnyjones@gmail.com. You can also send them to me on Facebook at Comedian Jonesy or Instagram at Funny Jones. Well, I guess Twitter too. You could tag me at Funny Jones on Twitter if you come across a funny Florida Friday article. But that's what tomorrow's going to be. I know it's your favorite day, so hang tight and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Hey, Jonesy. First off, I want to say you're amazing. I listen to you every day in my regular podcast, and it's honestly the one I look forward to the most. Also, I wrote your review on Amazon, but I'm a dumbass and forgot that I was still connected to my ex's Amazon profile. And yes, I do order things off of his credit card, but we won't talk about that. And his name is Silverwolf for real. I hope you have a great day and are staying safe inside your closet. Bye. Hey, Jonesy. First off, I want to say you're amazing and brighten my day. Also, I am... Oh.
My plan. Propose to her after work. Candles. 10,000 lit, I must be a jerk. Then I walked right out the door. Burning down the house. My house. He's a town square wizard, gets paid 10K for this. He's a town square... Nope, that ain't it. Let's try again. He's a town square wizard, gets paid 10K for this, works 1 hour a day, and that has Jonesy pissed. How do you think he got hired? I don't know. Must have put a spell on them.